one of the disgusting legacies after 9/11 has been the targeting and racism against Muslim Americans throughout the United States of America. And this is an extension of that legacy. Consistency, there is nothing consistent with the Republican Party's continued attack except for the racism and incitement of violence against women of color in this body. I had a member of the Republican caucus threaten my life, and you all and the Republican caucus rewarded him with one of the most prestigious committee assignments in this Congress. Don't tell me this is about consistency. Don't tell me that this is about a condemnation of anti-Semitic remarks when you have a member of the Republican caucus who has talked about Jewish space lasers and an entire amount of tropes, and also elevated her to some of the highest committee assignments in this body. This is about targeting women of color in the United States of America. Don't tell me, because I didn't get a single apology when my life was threatened. Thank you.
It's a great defense of Representative Ilhan Omar by Representative Alexandria Ocasio Cortez there, pointing out the 2 decades of rampant Islamophobia that's become totally normalized in America. No one in the Republican Party, no one on Fox News or independent Republican media feels at all worried at all about trafficking in the worst sorts of Islamophobic hate and all of that when it comes to Representative Ilhan Omar, and they got what they wanted yesterday. Representative Omar was kicked off of a committee that the Republicans say that she's not qualified to be on because she dared to criticize the Israeli government, which isn't allowed. That's a part of cancel culture that they're perfectly happy with. You will be canceled if you criticize this foreign government or a particular politician or a particular party inside of it. You can't do that. And interestingly, when talking about qualifications, they think that she's not qualified to be on that. I think that AOC did a great job of pointing out that someone like Marjorie Greene is on Homeland Security. It is designed to protect the homeland and its security and all of that. And yet she says things like there's space lasers that are starting wildfires. How is she qualified to do that? Now, she hates when you bring this up. She said in response to it, there's people that think that I said a phrase called Jewish space lasers, a phrase that I never said. As a matter of fact, it was created and invented in a story that a bunch of people read in the news. I don't hold any beliefs like that at all. Now, it is true that she did not literally say the 3 words Jewish space laser back to back, but you can go and we'll bring up this, you can see her Facebook rant that she went on. She said back in November of 2018, there are too many coincidences to ignore with the wildfires. And she repeated theories about, quote, lasers or blue beams of light causing the fires in a conspiracy being linked to the Rothschild banking dynasty. So she did not, in fact, say Jewish space laser. She just said there are lasers in space and it's the Jews who are shooting them. But even if it wasn't anti-Semitic, how riddled with parasites does your brain need to be to believe that the most likely cause of wildfires is a space-based laser system? Even if she wasn't anti-Semitic, which she definitely is, she is in no way qualified to evaluate, let alone deal with threats to our homeland security when she's getting her advice on what to watch out for from 1980s James Bond movies. What do y'all think?
Well, look, it's weird that I'm not more animated about this one, and I get animated, and my background is Muslim. I guess I'm less animated because I just find all this to be so obvious. So we're talking about how Ilhan Omar was too anti-Semitic because she did a tweet saying it's all about the Benjamins when referring to lobbyists. Whereas, let's be fair though, Marjorie Taylor Greene, maybe she meant not Jewish space lasers, but Jewish bankers firing blue beams from space. Could be, could be. Okay, how about Donald Trump, the glorious leader of the Republican Party? He had Nick Fuentes and Kanye West, 2 guys who have both said how much they admire Adolf Hitler and the Nazis, over for dinner. We're having a conversation about saying that lobbyists are interested in money being equivalent to that? Are you insane? So no, we're not having this guy. I'm not even angry about it. It's so dumb, right? Mm-hmm. So I almost don't want to engage in this. Republicans are obvious liars. Even debating it dignifies it too much. I just go on TV and say, if you think that every Republican isn't an enormous liar, You do a joke of a show. I'm not even interested in that debate. Anyone who compares Ilhan Omar to Marjorie Taylor Greene or Donald Trump is lying by definition. I mean, no one in their right mind could possibly think those two things are equivalent. Max.
Well, I think now that Marjorie Taylor Greene is Kevin McCarthy's puppet master, she's trying to run away from all these things she said. But I agree with you. I mean, I let Republicans have this fight for me. Just a month ago, Lauren Boebert called Marjorie Taylor Greene out for being anti-Semitic. I mean, when your members of your own party are calling you out for your Jewish space laser insanity, there's not really much we have to do. But I think AOC got to a larger point here, which is that these Republicans, when they show up at all, show up to make clips for Fox News. They disrupt proceedings. They're trying to do their best to break government so they can sell to their voters that government is broken. They're not a productive presence. They're, if anything, the hardest part about keeping government running right now. And it was, AOC, I think, was great to say that.
Yeah, can I just say it too on the Muslim issue? Are we having a conversation about whether Republicans hate Muslims? Look, if you're a Republican out there, you know you hate Muslims. Now you'll say, oh, no, I'm not racist or bigoted. I mean, but Muslims are different, man. You know, their religion is really violent, man. Okay, having never read the Old Testament, let alone the New Testament, even Sam Harris on the show, who despises Muslims, admitted, yes, out of all the religious texts, by far the most violent is the Old Testament in the Bible, right? But it doesn't matter. They've never read anything. They've never read a children's book, let alone the Bible, let alone the Quran. So the idea that Muslims are not bigoted against Muslims, I'm sorry, Republicans are not bigoted against Muslims is absurd. Of course they are. And in that case, it's not a small number. I would reach a giant number. The great majority of Republican voters hate Muslims. Anyone who denies that is being insane and absurd. I'm not having that debate.
100%. And by the way, while I think she rightly focused on the just explicit Islamophobia in that AOC also went on CNN later on the day. We don't have time to play the tape, but and explained how much of this is about the often unspoken rule that you just do not criticize a particular right-wing party or leader inside of Israel. You do not. If you make any criticisms whatsoever of specific policies or specific rhetoric, then they're going to refer to it as anti-Semitic. It's very clear. We make that point very often. You don't often hear it made by politicians. I just want to end with Marjorie Greene got mad, obviously, at what AOC had said. So she tweeted, Representative AOC, I have repeatedly asked you to debate me, but you have been a coward and can't even respond. But you go on CNN and lie about me, even though, again, we've already pointed out it's true. You can see her messages up there. It's not even the craziest thing she believes. When are you gonna be an adult and actually debate me on policy instead of run your mouth like a teenage girl? So first of all, I don't want to see them debate. I don't want to see Marjorie Greene legitimized in that way, but if you're gonna have a debate about the merits of whether there are lasers in space, I guess that could be at least a little bit interesting. And AOC points out, in case you forgot, we sit on the same committee, which debated for the first time this week. I don't blame you if you forgot. You spent almost no time there. In the few minutes you did show up, you claimed one elementary school got $5 billion to teach CRT. Because again, Marjorie Greene doesn't know anything. She doesn't care about being involved in governance. She went there to make her little prepared remarks and then she left because she's not interested in accomplishing anything.
Okay, I just gotta say, first I want to give tons of credit to AOC. There's a good fiery speech on the floor of the House, excellent and courageous points on CNN, not often made, especially about Israel. But I love that last tweet because there's two members of the House, one challenging the other to a debate. Hey, good news, you're in a body that is supposed to debate for a living. You go and debate her on the floor of the House on every issue. You want to debate on $15 minimum wage? Great. Let's introduce a resolution on a $15 minimum wage or Medicare for all. And then you guys can debate it all day long in the House. No, that's not, it's not gonna get me the clicks online. I need the clicks. Who cares, policy? By the way, so far, what have they done? Socialism bad, these are the two things, and Ilhan Omar bad. And by the way, Schiff and Swalwell too.
They weakened the ethics committee, that's good.
Weakened the ethics committee. Are you guys ever going to introduce a resolution, Republicans, about the American people? Are you guys, to help them? I know you're planning to cut Social Security and Medicare, that doesn't help them. And by the way, again, every reporter in this country sucks. Does anybody want to ask the Republicans, are you ever going to introduce a bill that helps the average American? Ever, ever. You've never talked about it, not once, not once. Isn't that amazing? Hey, Republican voters, you schmucks. Why don't you ask your representatives, hey, when are you gonna help me and my family? I get it, I hate Omar too. Muslims, I hate him. I'm sure you agree with that. But when are you going to move on to helping your actual voters? Go ahead, I dare you to ask them. Because every Republican is gonna go, I'm helping you by owning the libs. Losers.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.